What if you could walk through chaos with the calm of a mountain? What if no insult, betrayal, or unexpected blow could move you? That kind of strength isn't just a fantasy. It's ancient, and it's earned. For thousands of years, Stoic philosophers lived and breathed this truth. That peace isn't found in the world, it's forged within. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire with a calm mind, even as plagues and wars raged around him. Epictetus was born a slave, yet he walked with the dignity of a king. And Seneca, surrounded by betrayal in Nero's court, remained unmoved, as if already beyond the reach of misfortune. They didn't wait for the world to change. They changed how they responded to it. This is the essence of Stoicism. And today, we uncover 15 Stoic laws, ancient, powerful, and timeless, that will make you unshakable in any situation. The first law: control what you can. Ignore what you can't. Epictetus taught that most suffering comes not from events, but from our judgment of them. You can't stop the storm, but you can choose how to stand in it. When you stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable, your power returns to you. Second, choose reason over emotion. The Stoic does not kill emotion, he trains it. Anger is not strength. Reaction is not control. A clear mind sees further than a hot one ever could. When someone offends you, the Stoic doesn't fight back. He pauses, observes, and then acts with purpose, not impulse. Third, expect adversity. To be surprised by hardship is to be unprepared for life. The Stoic doesn't wish for ease, he rehearses difficulty. Seneca would imagine losing everything, not to depress himself, but to build a mind that cannot be broken when fate turns cruel. Because fortune is never permanent, but your mindset can be. Fourth, practice voluntary discomfort. Sleep on the floor. Skip a meal. Walk without comfort. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. When you strip life down to its essentials, you discover how little you truly need, and how strong you truly are. Fifth, remember, everything is borrowed. The Stoic sees that nothing is truly his, not wealth, not people, not even time. So he holds things with gratitude, not with chains. And when they're taken, as all things eventually are, he lets go, not with sorrow, but with serenity. Sixth, speak less. Listen more. The wise don't waste words proving their wisdom. They observe, reflect, and when they speak, it cuts deeper than 1,000 empty voices. In silence, the Stoic grows sharp. In stillness, he becomes immovable. Seventh, turn obstacles into fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." To the Stoic, problems are not interruptions, they are instructions. Pain becomes perspective. Loss becomes freedom. Resistance becomes strength. Eighth, be indifferent to praise and blame. The crowd cheers. The crowd boos. But the Stoic remains the same. He doesn't inflate when praised or shrink when insulted, because both are just noise. And character, unlike applause, doesn't fade when the lights go out. Ninth, keep death close. Memento mori, remember you must die. This isn't morbid. It's clarifying. When you remember that each breath could be your last, petty fears vanish. You act boldly. You love more fiercely. You speak what must be said. You stop wasting time, because you understand how little of it you truly have. 10th, do your duty, no matter the outcome. The Stoic commits to what is right, not what is easy or profitable. He does not tie himself to success or failure, only to effort. The reward is in the doing, because virtue is its own victory. 11th, surround yourself with people of strength. A Stoic doesn't isolate, but he doesn't tolerate weakness either. He seeks those who sharpen him, friends who challenge, Mentors who demand growth. Because a sword grows dull among rusted blades, but among warriors, it becomes unbreakable. 12th. Focus on your character, not your reputation. Your name can be stained by rumor, but your soul, that's yours to protect. The Stoic wakes each day asking, "Am I living by my principles?" Not, "Do they approve of me?" 13th. Embrace solitude. Not loneliness, but chosen stillness, where the noise of the world fades, and your thoughts echo louder than any voice outside you. In solitude, the Stoic meets his truest self, and shapes it like a sculptor chiseling away everything unnecessary. 14th. Master the morning. How you begin your day is how you shape your destiny. Marcus Aurelius rose early to remind himself, "Today I will meet ungrateful, selfish, and rude men, and I will not be disturbed by them." The Stoic doesn't react to the day, he meets it on his own terms. 15th. Live now. Fiercely. Not yesterday. Not someday. This moment is all you ever truly own. So don't postpone your principles. Don't wait for peace. Practice it, right now, in this breath. And as you begin to live by these laws, not perfectly, but persistently, you will notice a change. The world won't grow easier, but you'll grow stronger. And no matter what chaos knocks at your door, you'll meet it with the calm of a Stoic. Because the journey of the Stoic doesn't end with understanding. It begins with application. Knowing the laws is not enough. You must live them, test them, bleed them into your habits until they become instinct. You will be tempted, by comfort, by anger, by the need to defend your ego. You will stumble. You will react when you meant to remain still. You will raise your voice, forget your discipline, get pulled into the drama. That's expected. That's human. But the Stoic doesn't seek perfection. He seeks mastery. And mastery is built in the repetition. The moment when you feel yourself slipping, and you pause instead of exploding. The moment you're insulted, and you choose to listen rather than defend. The moment you're disappointed, and you ask, "What can I learn from this?" instead of, "Why me?" Each time you do this, you shift. You become less controlled by emotion, and more guided by principle. Less shaken by what people think, and more anchored in what you know to be true. Less concerned with outcomes, and more devoted to the process. And slowly, without fanfare, a quiet transformation takes place. People begin to notice. Not because you're louder, but because you're steadier. Not because you dominate the room, but because you bring peace to it. There's a presence that comes with living stoically. A weight in your words. A patience in your tone. A dignity in how you move, like someone who does not fear loss, because he's already let go. Like someone who does not chase approval, because he already respects himself. Like someone who no longer waits for the world to be calm, because he has become the calm. And in time, you realize, these 15 laws weren't about being untouchable. They were about becoming deeply, powerfully human. The kind of human the world needs more of. Not reactive. Not impulsive. Not easily led by noise or emotion. But firm. Clear. Grounded. A lighthouse in a storm. And when you live like this, not for attention, not for applause, but because you've chosen a higher standard, you begin to see that most of what disturbed you no longer does. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And now, as the world continues to swirl around you, full of noise, urgency, demands, and distractions, something inside you begins to anchor more deeply. You no longer rush to meet the chaos. You no longer flinch when life surprises you. Because you've trained for this. Not just once, but every day you chose principle over impulse. You start noticing subtle shifts. You walk into a room, and instead of absorbing the energy, you influence it. People bring complaints, but you offer clarity. Arguments arise, but you don't take the bait. Where others crumble under pressure, you remain composed, not because you're trying to impress, but because you've already seen the alternative, and you chose better. The people around you may not understand it at first. Some may think you've become cold. Some may say you've changed. And they'd be right. You have changed. Because you stopped living at the mercy of every mood, every comment, every misfortune. You've chosen discipline over drama, restraint over retaliation, virtue over validation. And it's not easy. The old self will whisper, sometimes scream, demanding to return. It'll tell you to snap back, to defend, to indulge, to blame. But you'll know better, because you've seen where that path leads. To regret, to restlessness, to weakness disguised as freedom. Instead, you stay the course. One breath at a time. One response at a time. Choosing silence when tempted to speak. Choosing stillness when tempted to act. Choosing principle when tempted to please. And in this repetition, you become something rare in this world. A man or woman in full control of their inner world. Not perfect, not without struggle, but rooted. And when storms come, and they always will, you won't need to brace yourself. You'll simply stand. Because the storm no longer reaches where you live now. This is what Stoicism gives you. Not immunity to life, but the strength to walk through it, with courage, with clarity, and above all, with peace. So you continue walking, through life's battles, its betrayals, its quiet disappointments. But now you walk with a different posture. You no longer chase control of the outside world. You've shifted inward, where the real war is won. Your decisions begin to reflect this stillness. You no longer speak just to be heard. You no longer act just to be seen. You do what needs to be done, not for credit, not for applause, but because it's right. You start holding yourself to a quieter code, and others begin to feel it. The noise of the world doesn't reach you the same way. The constant alerts, the scrolling, the shouting, the endless demands for attention. They fade, like waves crashing against a rock that doesn't move. You begin to see the drama for what it is. A distraction from your real work, your real growth, your real peace. And every time you resist that pull, every time you return to your core, you strengthen something far more powerful than pride. You strengthen character. You stop needing everything to go your way. You stop wishing people were different. You stop blaming fate. Because now you understand. Life isn't supposed to be easy. People aren't supposed to agree. Fate isn't supposed to favor you. And that's not a reason to despair. It's a reason to rise. You begin to appreciate the resistance, not because you enjoy the pain, but because you finally see what it's building in you. Patience, discipline, depth. You've stopped measuring your life by comfort, and started measuring it by strength. And in this shift, you start becoming someone others look to in their own storms. Not because you shout louder, but because you don't shout at all. You simply are. Come. Still. Grounded. And that presence, that invisible, immovable force, it's what Stoicism was always about. Not to impress the world, but to no longer need to. You begin to notice. You no longer react to everything. You respond when necessary, and let the rest pass like wind through trees. You've lost interest in proving yourself, because there's nothing left to prove to anyone who doesn't understand what you've built within. That silence they mistake for weakness. It's the sound of your restraint. That pause before you speak. It's the distance you've created between impulse and intention. That stillness in your presence. It's the result of battles won where no one could see them. And now, life begins to open itself differently to you. Not because it's changed, but because you have. What once enraged you, now amuses you. What once tempted you, now seems hollow. What once shattered your peace, now barely ripples your surface. You begin to walk lighter, not because life has less weight, but because you no longer carry what doesn't belong to you. Regret, guilt, approval, envy. You let them fall away like old skin. What remains is essence. What remains is purpose. And with it, a rare kind of freedom. Not freedom from the world, but freedom from being ruled by it. This is where the Stoic finds his true reward. Not in applause, not in achievement, but in the quiet mastery of the self. The inner fortress that cannot be stormed. The soul that remains whole, even as the world around it fractures. And when you look in the mirror now, you don't see someone trying to become strong. You see someone who already is, not because life got easier, but because you became disciplined enough to carry it with grace. Continue from where you stop. Do not end the story. Not louder, not faster, but deeper. Each step, each breath, a quiet vow to yourself. I will not be ruled by impulse. I will not be broken by fate. I will not hand over my peace to anything outside my control. And as the world tests you, because it always will, you welcome it, not as an enemy, but as a mirror that reveals how far you've come. Where once you snapped in anger, now you smile in understanding. Where once you ran from discomfort, now you sit with it. Where once you needed validation, now you need only alignment with your own values, your own standard. This is the shift. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you begin to ask, "What is this moment demanding from me?" Not emotionally, not reactively, but with principle, with composure, with depth. And slowly, your life begins to reflect that inner structure. Not perfect, but purposeful. You become consistent in your thoughts, firm in your choices, and graceful under pressure. And those around you begin to notice, not just what you say, but what you don't say. Not just what you do, but what you refuse to do. Because the Stoic does not need to prove his strength. His restraint speaks louder than his reaction ever could. And in a world constantly trying to provoke you, that stillness, that silence, that sovereignty, is your most powerful act of rebellion. So you keep going. Each day a little more grounded. Each moment a little more free. Not because the world has changed, but because now you have.